That was Anita Ward, Ring My Bell, and this classic slash iconic track is making a bit of a comeback on TikTok and the social media I see. And it is said that this track has a magical frequency. So some of the content creators out there are vouching for listening to this track every single morning in order for you to raise your frequency. Now, whether you're doing that or not, it definitely serves as a nice start to a morning or a nice start to today's episode of the Conversation Club live on Slim Radio. Welcome to the show. I'm sitting here with warm sun in my back and my sunglasses are on today because A, it looks cool, and B, this girl is tired. I've been sleeping a little bit bad the last 2 days. And I just said to my colleague over here that the schedule doesn't stop even though you're feeling tired, even though you're, whatever is going on in your life, your schedule stays put. And this week I've been locked in. I've been so locked in because astrologically it's a huge week. And I do believe a little bit in astrology, and there's a lot of planets in Aries, I believe actually 7. And tomorrow should be one of the most important days in the history, or at least this year. So anything you're manifesting, anything you're working on, any kind of restrictions you were feeling, those are let go of, and tomorrow is gonna catapult you into a new reality. And I'm kind of feeling it. I'm kind of feeling it. So actually, I'm riding that wave, and especially this week, I've been very locked in. I had a million things on my to-do list every single day, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna tick them off. I'm not gonna sleep before I do it. Maybe that's why I'm tired as well. I have definitely been pushing it, but yeah, it's been paying off. So remember, tonight, tomorrow, in for the new moon, put down your manifestations and use that Aries energy. Go for it. Initiate things. Don't hold back. That's my advice to you this week. Now, today, I'm actually coming a little bit more unprepared than usual. Today, I'm gonna be just talking from the heart, talking from my head, and I'm gonna take you on a little journey. Let's see where it ends, let's see where it starts. But I'm kind of raw dogging the radio show, a little bit like Justin Bieber raw dogged his Coachella performance. No shade to JB, but there's been a little discourse going around. If there would have been a woman, would she have gotten away with that quote unquote low effort show? Now, I'm not gonna say XYZ. I thought it was really cute. I think he definitely deserves the recognition. He got paid 10 million, by the way, but he deserves to sit up there and feel good because he's going through a lot. But every single woman is also going through a lot, so let's not get that twisted. But just in comparison to Sabrina Carpenter or Karol G or whatever Lady Gaga did last year, or Beyonce did at her Beychella, I think it was in 2018. I mean, just the level of effort and energy and presence that went into those performances versus Justin Bieber, the difference was quite astronomical. However, it was really nice to see him jamming, healing, and singing. So nothing bad against that, but was that worth 10 million? Maybe, maybe not. To each their own. Now, as I said today, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about what's been going on in my life, what I'm reading, what thoughts I'm having. So come along this little journey. I hope you've been feeling good this week. Anybody listening in? As I said, big week, so if you're feeling that Aries energy, go for it. I'm feeling it too. And on Sunday, I hosted one in-person conversation club at the New Parlour, which is a wellness salon in the Jordan. And I hosted this with a friend of mine, Marika is her name. She was the guest last week on the pod. And last week, we already touched upon beauty, treatments, and pleasure. And we hosted this conversation club in person with another girl, Simone, and she is the founder of this sexual wellness brand called Aya. And just to recap a little bit what we talked about, because I find it always so fascinating. By the way, I'm here yapping by myself bi-weekly on the radio, but if you ever feel like you want to be joining in person, please do follow my Instagram Conversation Club, because there I'm always posting about the upcoming events. And the point for those events is to come together and facilitate a conversation. I'm always having some questions, some prompts. It's always around a specific topic or an article, a book or something. Tonight I'm hosting a book club, for example. But yes, on Sunday we talked about beauty, wellness, pleasure, and treatments. And it was just very beautiful to have 12 women come together and speak about their experiences. And of course, a lot of the experiences are very similar. We're living the same life. There's like not one unique single experience in the life. But something that we kind of landed on was that we feel the most beautiful when we are feeling free, when we move. And it's so much more about the feeling rather than the actual looks. And the same goes for pleasure. It's not so much about performing, it's not so much about, what you do, it's more about how you feel when you do it. So this is just a reminder to all of the women out there to stay wild, stay free, go out in nature and feed everything that feeds your soul and feeds your mind and curiosity and everything. Of course, it's also important to take care of yourself, your appearance and everything. That goes without saying. I do enjoy that too, but it has to start from within. Now, before we go into the next topic, I'm going to go back to my playlist and we're going to celebrate JB with a little throwback to his track, Sorry.
Try, but I don't do too well with apologies. I hope I don't run out of time, cause someone call a referee. Cause I just need one more shot, have forgiveness. I know you know that I made those mistakes maybe once or twice. And by once or twice I mean maybe a couple of 100 times. So let me redeem on myself tonight. Cause I just need one more shot. Second chances. Yeah. Is it too late now to say sorry? Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh, is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now? Take every single piece of the blame if you want me to. But you know that there is no innocent one in this game for two. But I go, and then you go out and spill the truth. But can we both say the words and forget this? Yeah. Is it too late now to say sorry? Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh. Is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say I'm sorry now? I'm not just trying to get you back on me. Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say I'm sorry now?
Justin Bieber, Sorry. And when this track came out, it definitely took the world by storm. And if you remember this music video, it was actually choreographed by Paris Goebel, which is a New Zealand dancer, New Zealand dancer and choreographer, and she later on became this superstar. She choreographed so many big artists. She did Rihanna Super Bowl. She did Abracadabra, the choreography with Lady Gaga, and yeah, she did I think Level Up with Sierra and a bunch of other things. And she is just so cool. She is just so badass. So if you don't know who she is, Paris with 2 R's, also such a cool name. Check her out, check her dance videos out. She's now also tapping into music and she's doing the most. She's super hot as well. I mean, actually, I'm loving lately all these multifaceted women, people who are doing several different things, and I recognize myself in that. I have a lot of different interests. I'm curious and I have a lot of different passions, and sometimes I've been very jealous of people who really found their thing. You know, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a pop star, or oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a doctor, or whatever it is that they were feeling super passionate about. And I'm like, I like this, I like that, and I can get tired of one thing, and I'm constantly kind of evolving and moving in my curiosity. And I saw that before as kind of a flaw, maybe. But I think especially now in the age of AI, social media, whatever, a lot of people with this so-called I'm blanking on the word. What's the word? A portfolio career. Yes, so not just a linear career anymore, but you know, you have talents in different industries in different areas is definitely to a certain advantage. And they do say that creative people do need to have several different outlets, and it does help. Like if you're a musician, then you also paint, and then you also dance, and then you also read, and you know, have different creative outlets, and in that way you can actually feed your creativity from different points of view. So Paris Goebel, she is definitely a multi-talent, and I would like to consider myself also as a multi-talent. Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to have a good morning. A couple of episodes ago, I was talking about how to have a perfect weekend, and lately I've been really enjoying my mornings. Lately, I've been really enjoying my morning routines. So I thought I would give you some tips and tricks how you can really start off your day in the best way possible. Funnily enough, coming from a person who's very tired now, normally it starts with a great night of sleep, but you know, life goes on. So how do you have a perfect morning, if you ask me? There's this really funny meme on Instagram or video, I never know what to call it. There's this video of a guy in Paris sitting on a balcony, and he's drinking a little coffee and he's playing La Vie en Rose by Edith Piaf, and he's just saying, imagine hating on me and I'm sitting here with my morning like, and then that's the video. And I thought that was kind of funny, because I think how you start your morning and what music you listen to really can set the tone to the rest of your day. And you really have a big power there. I mean, throughout the day, but especially in the morning where nothing has really happened yet. There are different people saying different things, and of course to each their own, but I thought I would share a little bit about how I like to start my mornings. And it's not gonna be like a crazy morning routine. I'm not Wim Hof or someone like that, but just a couple of tricks and tips to enhance your morning. And for me, it's more about curating the vibe that you want to have for the day. So when I was younger, or when I was living still with my parents, I really remember very vividly always having a very nice breakfast, and especially in the weekends, there's always music playing. I come from a very musical family. My dad plays violin, and I play cello, and my sister played violin, and not just classical music, but he was always listening to this radio show called Muistojen Boulevardi on the radio, and that was always like throwback music, but like kind of very old music. My dad is very into 1920s music. And then there was this radio station called Groove FM in Finland, and honestly, always when I'm playing hits there now, I still attribute a lot of my wins to Groove FM, because I was always listening to the tracks, and my dad would always ask, who is this? And what's the name of the track? And who's the artist? And then there will be kind of like a little trivia. And that way I learned a lot of classic 70s, 80s, 60s groovy tracks, all the disco, all the, you know, Jackson 5, Chic, Earth, Wind and Fire, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Bee Gees, all of those bands. I attribute that knowledge to my dad and to Groove FM. But anyway, I just remember all these super nice, easy weekend mornings when you would wake up, and normally my parents would make some nice breakfast, and I would have, I would hear the music in the living room, and everyone would gather around the table to read newspapers or do Sudoku or read a book or whatever. And that was just such a wonderful start to your day. But that's, of course, a bit like the weekend. And now I'll recognize my privilege as being a self-employed girly. So I don't often have a very early morning where I have to be somewhere. Like, God knows, I've been there. I used to work actually at an office in Aalsmeer, and we had a shuttle bus that went there, and it left from Schiphol 8 or 9 a.m. sharp. You could not access the office without the shuttle bus, so you had to be there. Otherwise, you would not get to the office, and before COVID, as you know, that was just not an option. Like, you had to be in the office. So I do know, and I do remember all those mornings. I would get up at 7, and I quickly done my makeup. I did some overnight oats, and I rushed to, the tram and then the metro or the train, go to Schiphol, run. I would go also with my friend to the Albert Heijn Go, and we would get a little sparkling water or a juice. If you're listening, Helene, hello. We would get like a little coffee, and I remember we were so poor that we would have like a little shingle of money that we would like calculate, like, can we afford this coffee because we have our payday tomorrow. We didn't have any money. Anyway, those were the times, and then we would go to the bus and have our coffees, and always the bus was like, I don't know, 20 minutes or 25 minutes, and we would always have a very nice morning catch up. So that was more like a hectic morning, but it also had its glory, and I will say, when you're getting out of the house in the morning, that's very nice. But back to now, if I can really choose my morning, this is how I would do it. So number one, you have to set the tone. You have to have a nice song playing. And recently I've been dabbling into a bit of a different vibe in the morning than normally in the afternoon or the music that I like, because I like high energy, up tempo. I'm a road cycle instructor. I like to go to parties. I like to sing along and dance. I normally could also put that on in the morning, but I will say I'm now leaning more into, let's say, more bossa nova or jazz, or lately I'm listening to a playlist called Parisian Morning, and I'm just setting the tone with like some music maybe that is coming from another country, like think French or Brazilian or Spanish or Portuguese, and that really kind of sets the tone, especially now when it's beautifully and sunny in the morning. Imagine putting on some bossa nova and making a coffee. Like, how nice is that? So yes, I'm I'm in a very French era of my life. I'll get into that later. I've always loved France. Let's say kind of the Parisian vibe. But anyway, I'm in a very French era of my life. So I wake up and I put on Edith Piaf, and I'm gonna do my little coffee. And I know as a woman you shouldn't drink coffee on an empty stomach, so I try not to do that. I will make some breakfast. And I also really like that routine of making coffee, having that little espresso. How do you say it in English? I don't know. You know the little thing that you are putting the espresso thing in, and it has to boil, and it cooks the little silver thing. Very vintage, very retro, very chic. No Nespresso cups for me, please. No, that is ruining the environment, and it is not even good, and you're missing out on that delicious coffee smell. And there's something about having a little moment to do your coffee. It's a little mindful moment. Now, for the rest, so I wake up, I put on the playlist, I make my coffee, I do a little morning routine in the bathroom, whatever you do, if you want to, brush your teeth, take a shower, wash your face or whatever. I also am trying to do some lymphatic drainage. I'm trying to be like facial massage. Speaking of tweakments and beauty, I mean, I do want to look good, don't get me wrong. So I'm doing something. I'm just not doing injectables or Botox or anything like that, but I'm trying to lean towards Eastern medicine, Eastern practices like facial yoga and gua sha and whatever, and it makes me feel really good. So I'll do that, and then, actually, depending on the day, sometimes I like to get some work done that sounds a little bit crazy, like working in the morning straight away. But sometimes you're feeling very inspired, or I am feeling very inspired. Obviously, if you work for an office job that you don't give a fuck about, maybe don't reach for your email right away, because that's going to lead to burnout. I've also been there. But I'm just doing some work for myself or doing some journaling. And honestly, a new highlight for me is to incorporate some reading in the morning again, because instead of just scrolling your phone, which I also do, of course, sometimes, but lately I'm reading in the morning again, and it's so nice. And I just started to read this book, which is actually something I think every woman and man should read. It is The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir, and it is essentially the feminine manifesto. I've only read the introduction and 2 chapters, so it's too soon to say. I started to read this book yesterday, but it's actually so interesting and so fascinating, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later. But just to wrap up the morning, so you have your music, you have your nice coffee scent. I also like to light some candles if it's winter, or in the summer maybe light an incense or something like that. So you're like stimulating your senses. So you have like music, you have the incense, you have some coffee, and then you're writing or then you're reading, sun is shining, and maybe you go out. I'm very lucky, I live at a very nice spot next to the water, so you know, you can go out and sit next to the water. How perfect is that? It's amazing, it's the best. So that way you can have a very nice start to your morning. But try it out with the music and a little bit different music that you would normally listen to, and see how that can shift the vibe and the mood for the day. And we're gonna listen to Edith Piaf, La Vie en Rose, which is literally, it has been my first track in the morning now for the last 2 weeks, and I love it. So here we go.
Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche, voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, l'a juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens dans moi mon cœur qui bat. Des nuits d'amour à plus finir, un grand bonheur qui prend sa place, des ennuis, des chagrins s'effacent, heureux, heureux, à en mourir. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est toi pour moi, moi pour toi dans la vie. Tu me l'as dit, m'as juré pour la vie. Dès que je t'aperçois, alors je sens dans moi mon cœur qui bat.
not being the first thing you hear in the morning. Excuse me, how magical would that be? Oh, I wasn't ready for the next track yet. Sorry about that, my listeners. That's coming later, because we're still gonna go into Simone de Beauvoir and The Second Sex. That's one of the French authors I'm reading recently. So Simone de Beauvoir, she wrote The Second Sex as kind of the first official feminist manifesto, and it really poses the question, why is the woman considered the other? Why is the female the second sex? And as I said, I've not come so far into it yet, but I just find it so fascinating, and it's still very relevant today to ask ourselves that question. Like, we've come quite far with equality and feminism, but still there's such a long way to go, and I think it will take still hundreds of years to fully unpack and kind of dismantle the patriarchy. But yes, she's just so smart. She's just such an icon. And when I was reading her book, I was actually catching myself really going into a mental state of levitating or so. I was just really kind of engaging and activating myself when I was reading it. And I was thinking, you know, back in the day, it came out sometime 1954, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that, maybe in the 60s, 1960s. And imagine being so smart that you are literally just kind of challenging the status quo, and you're saying like, hey, well, actually, no, that's not how it is. Like, I'm challenging you, Freud, I'm challenging you, all big philosophers and, you know, biologists and whatever, and just coming up with your own idea. And I was just thinking, like, when have I ever had such an original thought? Or if I would have been her, would I have had the courage to bring out my thoughts as the new reality? And I don't know, that just kind of baffled me a little bit, because I think I spoke so many times about that critical thinking that we are losing, but I was really rediscovering critical thinking through her, being like, you don't have to believe everything you read, and you don't have to believe everything that you are seeing on social media or whatever. Like, you can have your own thought and your own voice, but I think your own voice and your own thought gets so drowned in the masses now. And, like, let's be honest, now with the information overload, and where there's been so much development in every area, like science, philosophy, psychology, whatever, there are not so many original thoughts out there anymore. But I don't know, I was still just inspired by her critical thinking and just her courage to bring her thoughts and opinions and theories forward as her own. And I realized that's literally what academia is based on. But I was still feeling very inspired and reminded to keep that critical thinking active and trust your own voice and trust your own thoughts. And, you know, you have your own point of view. And she, of course, talks a lot about the man, and he thinks that he is human is man, and that is the status quo. And the woman is missing, let's say, the penis, so hence she is less, essentially, or she is different than the man. But you can also flip the coin, flip it and reverse it. If you're a woman, you're saying, no, you're different, you're the other one. But why is everything built on the notion that the man is the standard, and the man is the status quo, and man is the norm, and the woman is different from that? Because you could also do it the other way around. So that's the whole kind of question she's asking. And how did that become? Because it's not starting from the embryo, or it's not just biology. That's how far I came. So I'll update you in 2 weeks when I've read more of the book. But anyway, I just think it's interesting, because all of our history, all of literature, like biology, evolutionary theory, science, everything is based on the man. And I recommended another great book called The Invisible Woman, which is a kind of modern feminist manifesto exposing the data bias between the genders, which is also very much recommended. This Second Sex book is definitely harder to read than The Invisible Woman, but definitely something I would recommend for any woman to do at some point in their lives, and men too. You know, don't put it on our shoulders. Like, we work hard enough to change this. I think men can also work a little bit to change it. But anyway, I'll update you more on that book once I've finished it or once I'm further down the line, because it has 800 extremely dense pages. Well, so she is French, and I mentioned I'm in a very French era of my life. I've always actually been. But I just think that there's something about the French way of living, the je ne sais quoi. I used to study French as well in high school, and of course, I was obsessed with Paris, and we went to Paris, and it's so beautiful. A good friend of mine, Phoebe, lives in Paris, and I spent some time in Paris last year, quite some time in Paris as well, and it's just so romantic, and I'm a romantic to the heart. I'm a Cancer, I'm a very romantic person. I love all of that, and of course, it's a little bit like a dream and a facade, but I'm like, so be it. I also, sue me, I love Emily in Paris. I just love to be in that whole little universe. I just love to be there in Paris. And you know, people are like, it's not so glamorous as you said it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is fucking glamorous in Paris, if you want it to be. I mean, Amsterdam can also be glamorous, but not like Paris. So that French way of living, there's this book I reread every time I need some more inspiration. Like, this is a very personal thing of me, of course, but it's called How to Be Parisian. And it's just this sort of lifestyle book that's talking about the French beauty, the French lifestyle. And it's just so nonchalant, and it's so cool. And it's just like, can I just also be Parisian? No, I'm a very practical Swedish-speaking Finn, but nothing wrong with that. But I think like everyone can incorporate a little bit more that French je ne sais quoi, the Parisian vibe into their lives, and I think that's the opposite of everything I've been kind of dissing here in my radio show. You know, that over-optimized life. It's like, yes, sure, like it's not that deep. Have a little glass of wine. You know, do it for the plot. No one wants an easy life. But it's also that like passion and romance and glamorization and dreaminess. I don't know. It's just all of that. So, yeah, listening to some French music and reading some French literature. And the French people, at least, you know, back in the day, and I'm sure still, but there's this very, how shall I say it? They are very philosophical, and they're big thinkers, and there's a lot of ideas and resistance. Like the French, they love a revolution, and it's very kind of independent. I mean, it hasn't always been, but I don't know. I think they are very forward, and they are very inspirational in a way, and very cultured. I think cultured is a good word as well. That's something that always fascinates me, and like Parisian elite that is like reading, going to art exhibitions, drinking wine and thinking, and, you know, having talks about philosophy and life. I always thought that was very cool. And that's also a little bit my inspiration behind the Conversation Club, in fact. But yes, I am reading another French book, and that's the one I'm going to be talking about tonight in my book club. And the book is called Bonjour Tristesse by Françoise Sagan. And she is an absolute classic. She's definitely an author that many of you probably have heard about, and the book as well, I'm sure you've heard about it. Bonjour Tristesse has been made into movies as well, a couple of different versions in fact. And I actually hadn't really heard much about the book or the controversy or about the author before. I just knew that it's a classic that you should read. So I actually just ordered it, and I received it, and I had no expectations going into it. But wow, that is definitely one of my top reading experiences lately. It was an amazing, amazing book, and I really was thrown into the French Riviera. It was such a beautiful story, and the way she writes is so chic and so nonchalant, and it's just, I don't know, very, very French, and I so enjoyed it. It's just 100 pages long, and it's a beautiful story, and it's just a perfect painted picture about that, like, laid-back French summer life at the Riviera. I don't know, it was giving a little bit Call Me By Your Name, a little bit the same vibe. So it's an easy book to read, perfect to read now when we're going towards summer. But the crazy thing is, she was 19 years old when she wrote the book, 18 or 19. And even crazier, she released the book and it was considered scandalous. Like, if you read it now in 2026, there's not a scandal in sight. But it was a young woman who was having sex without consequences. She didn't get married, she didn't get a kid, and she wasn't even really in love with the boy, and she was plotting and scheming. She was like a little Blair Waldorf, and she also was just partying and drinking and having fun and being kind of irresponsible, or as the critics said, amoral. God, would those critics have things to say in today's day and age. But anyway, it was actually banned. It was banned by the Vatican. It was banned by several countries. I also read that in South Africa, and now don't quote me on this one if I'm saying it wrong, but actually it was banned, and if you were caught reading the book, you were put in prison. So it was read in secret. Nevertheless, it rose to the New York Times #1 bestseller a year after it got published. It sold 350,000 copies, and it's today considered a literary classic. Literally a literal classic. Translated into 23 languages, and another funny fact was that in Soviet Union they were reading it and they were using it as propaganda, and it was sort of this inspiration for the free West, the liberated West. But yeah, it was a scandal when it came out, but today it's considered a classic. And that got me thinking a little bit about the complex female character, the, flawed female character that we still have a little hard time grasping. But we're gonna go into a track before we dive into that topic, and this track you already heard a little part of, but it's such a feel-good track. It's called Can't Get Enough by Soul Searcher. Enjoy it!
Just give me everything that you got.
enough, that was Soul Searcher. And speaking of complex female characters, which seems like society slash patriarchy can't handle. So both Simone de Beauvoir and Françoise Saga, and the protagonist in the Bonjour Tristesse book, they were all considered difficult women. And difficult as in not conforming to the patriarchal norms and standards. For example, Françoise Sagan, she was called James Dean of the literary world. She was speed driving, gambling, partying, and living a crazy life, and that was unheard of. And yeah, the whole reason why Bonjour Tristesse was censored was because it was considered amoral, because the main character there indeed has a romance with someone she's not really in love with, and she's doing some mischievous things, and it was very new for the world. And however, of course, like any pioneering work, it now serves as an inspiration, and has served as an inspiration for women worldwide, and authors worldwide to write their own versions of this in areas of the world where women are still very oppressed and put in place. So always when you're starting some waves, remember that might be just what the world needs. So no reason to shut up just because someone can't handle your point of view or your stories. Yes, so this just got me thinking a little bit about the flawed female character. And that's, for example, Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City, or Hannah Horvath from Girls, or actually all of those women in those TV shows. And they're actually kind of getting a bad rep. And a lot of those main characters are, of course, we love the TV shows, but a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I'm not a Carrie. Or like before it was considered cool to be a Carrie, but now it's considered cool to be a Carrie. But I'm like, you know what? I am Carrie Bradshaw. Je suis Carrie Bradshaw. I am her, she is me. Like, yes, I've also, like, in the middle of the night, gone and knocked on my ex-boyfriend's door. I've also done crazy things. I've also, made bad decisions, or, followed my heart over my head, or spent money that I didn't have. Like, we've all been there. And I think why she provokes so many of us is because we haven't really come yet to we haven't come to terms with the Carrie Bradshaw in ourselves. I think that's what it is. Same with Marnie. Like, oh my gosh, I'm also Marnie, like Marnie from Girls. Hannah Horvath. Wow, that was a tongue twister. Hannah Horvath, yes, I'm her as well. Like, I'm all of those people. I'm all of them. And there's nothing wrong with that. And, a woman that stands out and, has an opinion or doesn't live the perfect life will always get criticized, unfortunately, way more than a man. Again, back to my Coachella example, like if Sabrina Carpenter would have done, or Beyonce would have done the same as Justin Bieber, I think they would have gotten a lot of shit. But a man can just pull up in his tracksuits, pull up a YouTube video and get 10 million. Like, sorry, that's unfair. But anyway, another woman that definitely stirred some pots and caused some controversy back in the day, and still to this day, is the pop icon Madonna. I don't wanna hear, I don't wanna know. Oh, I'm so into Madonna right now. I'm so into her catalog of music. I've gone back, and one of my favorites is Confessions of a Dance Floor. That track, I believe it came out in 2005. So iconic visuals as well. And I remember my little sister got that as a Christmas gift. And we were playing that all over again, and I'm just rediscovering, and it still sounds so fresh. It's literally, 2006, that's when it came out, because it's celebrating 20 years now. And it's still so fresh, and it's still, it's so futuristic. It's a little bit like French techno vibes. French kind of electronic music vibes, a bit like Daft Punk vibes. If you're unfamiliar with that piece of work, please go and listen to Confessions of a Dance Floor. You recognize some of those tracks, but it's just such a good one. And I just heard the very good news that she's gonna come out with part 2 very soon, in July, I believe. And she's releasing a new single tomorrow. So yay to all the Madonna fans out there. And if you didn't know, Madonna from before. Like, she's a songwriter, musician, she's an actor, she's pretty much a producer, everything, dancer. And she's born in America, she's born in Michigan, and she's already quite old. And she's still active, she's still going. And of course, you might recognize her from her earlier days, from tracks like a Virgin and Express Yourself, Papa Don't Preach, Like a Prayer. And she's having a renaissance in TikTok, I feel, as well, which is very lovely to see. Maybe it's planted by the industry, I don't know, because she's releasing a new album. But anyway, she was wearing this very iconic Jean-Paul Gaultier bustier with these cone boobs. And she's always been very vocal about social issues, religion, and politics. And she's just been very unapologetically herself. I feel like she and Cher have both been very, in a way, in their masculine energy for the society to handle. You know that famous quote of Cher as well, like, "Mom, I am a rich man," like, goals, literally goals. And Madonna as well has been very just free and independent and very bold and daring, and I think that's very inspiring. So I thought we're gonna listen to one of her tracks, and I'm just gonna, pull the classic from Confessions of a Dance Floor. It's called Hung Up, and I'm sure you recognize it. It's incredible, and it of course samples another iconic song, Gimme Gimme by ABBA, and that track samples an even older song, which I don't remember, so don't come at me. But anyway, enjoy Madonna and Hung Up.
Time goes by so slowly. Time goes by so slowly. Time goes by so slowly. Time goes by so slowly.
And by the way, she released this album when she was 40, and she was doing squats up and down. She was performing. So if you ever think that you're past your prime, no, you're not. And if you ever think you're too old to do squats, no, you're not, unless you're 40 plus. I mean, you can still do squats.
I'm hung up on you, waiting for you. Come, baby, now.
I'm sorry, literal goosebumps. Goosebumps, it's so good. It's so good. And the whole album is so good. Go and listen to it. I mean, it's just banger after banger after banger. And I'm gonna plug a little something here. Namely, I'm coaching a theme ride, which is Madonna versus... No, you know what? Let's not put them against each other. Madonna and Zara Larsson theme, right? So I'm doing that for the upcoming weeks at Rose Cycle, Tuesday nights and Friday lunch at Southos. So if you're vibing to ride to this kind of music, come and ride with me. So yes, we are anticipating Madonna's next studio album. Tomorrow comes the new single, but before that, go stream her songs and just enjoy. And she was definitely also a woman that didn't conform. She was very outspoken and she was looking a certain way and she was having fun and she was just living her best life. And I think that's very inspiring. Speaking of music, speaking of culture, I am actually inviting all of you for a little challenge. I'm always challenging you in my show, it seems, reading challenge, but also a little challenge which is going to be called Cultural Spring. And I actually heard this this term was coined in another podcast. I'm listening to a Swedish podcast called Yada Yada Shout Out, and they were just saying that, you know, the theme of the spring should be culture. And I kind of agree. So I had my parents here over Easter and we had a wonderful, wonderful time. My parents are very cultural. My mom is an art curator and my dad, well, next to being a dentist, he is also a violinist and is very into music. So always when they're here, we go to a concert and we go to different exhibitions and just enjoy the city of Amsterdam. And Amsterdam is, of course, a cultural hub, so we are very lucky for that. But yeah, so essentially, Cultural Spring means just incorporating culture into your life, because I think culture is essentially also very human. And in the age of AI and robotics and tech, let's try to resist that. So, I don't know, go and get some culture into your daily life. You know, there are so many exhibitions, there are so many musical performances, there are so many, you know, stand-up comedies. You can go, I don't know, participate in a choir or go to a pottery class or, you know, go to a museum or, you know, make some pictures or just do something creative, enjoy the culture. And I think we need to support culture because none of the politicians want to support that, but, you know, go support culture. Go support your local artist, go support your local theater group, go support your local cinema, go support your local artist, go support anything local, anything creative, because I think we really need it, because without creativity, we're literally going to be robots, and I don't want that. So please go and support your local creatives. It is going to be a Cultural Spring 2026. I'm participating, and you should also participate in the Cultural Spring Challenge. But it's a fun one. I feel like we got into that good flow after all. I mean, I mentioned I was tired. I was a little bit not per se prepared. Prepared is difficult to say, because at this level of my life, at this mature age of 31, I feel like if you just live and, you know, you collect your experiences, I will always have something to say. But normally I really have 3 big topics that I talk about, and today it was a bit more of a flow, but I actually liked it. So I'm gonna have a little look in my notebook if there was anything else I wanted to touch upon before we are heading out. But we're gonna honor all the difficult women by a little song by a certainly difficult woman, MIA. And I mean, today she has some controversial opinions, but for sure, when she started her career, it was very political, very outspoken, and she's still a very cool person. So yeah, one of my favorite tracks of MIA is, of course, Bad Girls. So enjoy.
Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. My chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the dashboard. My chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the radio. Get back, get down, pull me closer if you think you can hang. Hands up, hands high. Don't go screaming if I blow you with a bang. going gonna have you trembling. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the dashboard. My chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the radio. Yeah, back it, yeah, pull up to the bumper game with the signal. Cover me, cause I'm changing how to handle on it. My life, but I broke it. When I get to where I'm going, gonna have you saying it. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the dashboard. My chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the radio. Chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the dashboard. My chain hits my chest when I'm banging. Get back, get down. Pull me closer if you think you can hang. Hands up, hands high. Don't go screaming if I blow you with a bang. Going not to bitch, I'll see for a million. Accelerating fast, I could do this in a second. Looking in the rear view, swagging, going swell. Leaving boys behind, cause it's legal just to kill. Shift gear, automatic, damned if I do. Who is gonna stop me when I'm coming through? What we got left is just me and you. But if I go to bed, baby, can I take you? Get back, get down. Pull me closer if you think you can hang. Hands up, hands high. Don't go screaming if I blow you with a bang. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the dashboard. My chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the radio. Chain hits my chest when I'm banging on the dashboard. My chain hits my chest when I'm banging.
If you're a bad girl, put your hands up. Yes. So that was Mia with Bad Girls, and that was dedicated to all women who have been coined difficult or too loud. In fact, I think we should be louder. So just remember that every single woman who is said to be too loud probably has a point. I feel like that's the correlation there. And even though I didn't plan this storyline, it kind of flowed pretty nicely into being a difficult woman, everything from, Simone de Beauvoir releasing The Second Sex, from François Saga writing about, a young girl doing things that a conservative France couldn't handle, to Madonna really paving the way for the modern day pop stars, to MIA, to just all the difficult women out there. So do what you do and continue on that train. So we are kind of starting to wrap up today's episode. I wanted to also, of course, mention myself in the culture. Support your local culture girly, me, the Conversation Club. Today I'm hosting a book club gathering, but new dates for May will be coming sooner than you know. And it was a little bit ambitious to do every second week, but I will promise you 2 events in May for sure, where we can gather around difficult or interesting or topics. I don't know where difficult came. It was stuck in my brain after talking about difficult women. But more topics coming through the Conversation Club, and of course you'll catch me here again in 2 weeks. So what did we learn today? We learned that by listening to Ring My Bell, you can up your frequency. So go stream Ring Your Bell We talked about the morning routine, which is very important. So really try out setting that tone for the day with some new music. You know, my favorites were French music. You can search, for example, Parisian Morning on Spotify. There are some playlists for that. Number 2, Brazilian or Portuguese music, or some like Spanish music. Sometimes it also helps if you don't exactly understand the lyrics, because then it's more a mood, a vibe. Light some incense. And you know what? If you have been thinking about buying that coffee machine, which is an upgrade from like an espresso or whatever you're drinking, do it. I don't know if this is salary day. For me, it's salary day. At least my invoices are getting paid today. But, you know, treat yourself to a nice coffee system at home. I mean, I believe we can't afford the Lavazza whole shebang, but at least one of those small little espresso cookers, I think that it's honestly such a good investment, and I'm saving the environment, and my house smells like freshly brewed coffee in the morning, and it's just very, very cute, and it's feeling very French, Italian, South European. Anyway, don't we all want to be a bit more South European at heart? We also talked about difficult women. If you ever considered a woman difficult, ask yourself, is she just difficult or is she just a woman? Because we never hear about difficult men unless they are like Donald Trump, you know? So we never hear about difficult men. Man is existing in this world as a standard. That's the whole thesis around the Second Sex book and Invisible Women. So go read those 2 masterpieces. It's not for the light-hearted reading. For that, you can pick up Bonjour Tristesse. That's a good one for that. But yeah, and support your local cultural players. I actually also went to a very nice book exchange this Saturday. It's also nice to go to an event. I'm hosting a lot of events myself, but I went to a book exchange. It was called Modern Day Readers, and you come there and you bring a book, and then, or actually you bring your favorite book, and everyone had to bring like a nice snack or food or drink, and then you are exchanging the book. You have to essentially pitch your book, and then everyone gets a new book, and it was very lovely. I got a classic from Tolstoy, which I haven't read before, so I'm excited to dive into that one as well. And I guess that's it. I think that's pretty much everything I had to say for today. Thank you for listening. I'm feeling actually more energized than when I pulled up here. Don't let a sleepless night stop you from reaching out for your dreams. It is still Aries season. It is a very important astrological week. So if you're thinking about holding back, not today, not tomorrow. Today we're going all in. Next week is Taurus season. Then we can chill and relax and be luxurious and, you know, sensual. But it is still that fiery energy out there. So if there was a project you wanted to do, please start now. You know, send those cold emails, call someone, go for it, invite someone, do something a little bit crazy and out of the blue this week. Today, tomorrow, very important astrological days. Stream, ring my bell, raise your frequency, and have a fabulous weekend, everyone. Thank you so much.
Hay una fiesta en mi casa. Vengan. Será muy divertido.
Are we getting too close? You're leaving things in my head. I'll be honest, you scare me. My life's supposed to be a party. Do you ever think about me? Cause we talk that talk, yeah, we talk all night. And the more I know you, the more I like you. Can you stick with me, maybe just for life? And say what's on your mind, my baby.
Talk to me in French, talk to me in Spanish, talk to me in your own made-up language. Doesn't matter if I understand it. Talk right in my ear, tell me your secrets and fears. Once you talk to me, I'll talk to you and say, shall we go back to my place?
Okay, here's the plan. I wanna fly you out to Amsterdam. I gotta be there to fuck you and I wanna come see me. We can pop our shit to Charlie and then put your arms around me.
You're thinking about me. No, don't pretend that you aren't. We're still obsessed like we just met. And when you fuck me, it's crazy. You're thinking about me. Cause we talk that talk. Spanish. Talk to me in your own made-up language. Doesn't matter if I understand and talk right in my ear. Tell me your secrets and fears. Once you talk to me, I'll talk to you and say, shall we go back to my place?
Okay, here's the plan. I wanna fly you out to Amsterdam. I got a big hotel to fuck you in. I wanna, boy, come see me. We can pop our shit to Charlie and let your arms around me.
Shall we go back to my place? To me in French, 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 Spanish. Talk to me in Spanish, 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 Spanish. Talk to me in French, 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 Spanish. Talk to me in Spanish, Spanish. Shall we go back to my place?
J'ai perdu mon téléphone, mais tu sais quoi? Ça en valait la peine parce que c'était une soirée de fou.
Yeah, last night was crazy.